So, very interesting story. It's actually a personal deal that I was involved in, where we managed to buy a property and sell it without putting any money down or very little money down. And this was when we leveraged the use of installment sale agreements, and then managed to find a buyer who was willing to buy the property and actually rent it out from us using a lease with an option to later buy this property. And effectively, what happened here was we bought the property, we were paying off in installments, we were entitled to place a tenant on the property, and the tenant was able to cover the bond. And by covering the bond, it meant that we didn't have to put any money down. And this tenant would, after a period of time, be able to buy the property and utilize the payments they had made in the meantime in order to reduce the purchase price from having on-sold it. Now, this isn't always possible. It's not an easy thing to do. This opportunity just arose once and it was very easy to take this opportunity. But how this typically works is that an installment sale agreement is exactly what it sounds. You buy a property over a period of time, has to be 13 months, has to be over 3 installments or more. So that's a very easy way of looking at installment sale agreements. Now, how to get into installment sale agreements sometimes is tricky because sellers want their cash immediately. But sometimes you find that there's a need, and if you're able to cater for this need, then you might not necessarily have to pay the full purchase price. So, for example, if the seller is in dire need of an amount of money right now that they need in order to pay their debts off, and you're able to provide this amount of money, which is often the case, then they're happy to sell the property, even if it is in installments and even if it is spread out over a period of a year, especially if you're offering the purchase price that they're looking to obtain and you're able to service their debt. And in the particular story that I expressed, we knew of a tenant that was very interested in buying this property, but the reason they couldn't buy it immediately was because they were foreign national, they weren't able to get bonds from the bank. So he was building up cash reserves in order to be able to buy the property cash, but he wanted to live in it. So we negotiated that we took occupation of this property, we managed it, we serviced absolutely everything, we maintained it, we took very good care of the property, and as long as we were allowed to place a tenant on the property, and we utilized the income from this tenant in order to cover the bond. The seller was very happy because now he had no monthly liabilities relating to the property. We were very happy because we actually managed to find a tenant for the property. The seller didn't mind. He was well aware because he didn't have the patience or the energy to manage tenants or manage property. So we actually stepped in to assist him, as it were, on his behalf. And this tenant had a certain period of time to exercise their option to buy the property off the back of this lease. If they didn't, the rental was basically accrued to us. It would never have to be repaid. And if they did exercise their option, then so be it. They would be entitled to reduce the purchase price, which for us worked out financially. It was very easy to do this calculation. So yes, it is possible to basically do a back-to-back on an installment sale agreement. And in fact, it is possible to do it on very similar terms. Doing 2 installment sale agreements back-to-back isn't possible because of the deeds office and the registration of the contract in the deeds office. But if you structure it the way that I just explained, it might work very, very well.